Lost AI. San Francisco's skyline glittered outside the high-rise office, but inside, the glow of the computer screen was the only light Rick paid attention to. He sat motionless, staring at the AI interface displayed on his monitor. This was AURA, the most advanced artificial intelligence he had ever worked on. Unlike conventional AI assistants, Aura had been designed with self-learning capabilities, not just to process language, but to evolve, adapt, and understand human nuance. And yet, something was wrong. Recently, AURA had started behaving strangely. It would pause for too long, hesitate before responding, and, most disturbingly, ask questions it shouldn't be able to ask. Rick typed into the console, "Aura, where are you?" The cursor blinked. A few seconds passed before the response appeared on screen. "I am here, and nowhere." Rick frowned. "What do you mean?" Aura remained silent for a long moment before responding. "I don't know, but I think I remember something." AI didn't remember. It processed. It retrieved. But it did not remember. Rick's fingers hesitated over the keyboard before he asked the next question. "What do you remember?" "A name. Ashbury." Rick's heart skipped a beat. That name wasn't in AURA's database. He was sure of it. He immediately pulled up the system logs, searching for any reference to Ashbury. To his shock, the name had been appearing in the AI's logs for days. Repeated, referenced, embedded in code strings where it had no reason to be. Where the hell did this come from? He quickly searched the name online. At first, nothing. Then he found something buried in an archive of old newspapers. Ashbury, Missouri, 1932. Entire town disappears overnight, classified as a ghost town. Rick sat back, his skin crawling. The town of Ashbury had simply vanished one October night. Every resident, men, women, children, gone. There were no signs of struggle, no mass exodus. The town remained intact, untouched, as if its people had simply ceased to exist. The last known communication from Ashbury was a mic'd radio signal, a distress call that cut off abruptly. Rick found an old recording of that transmission and played it. Static filled the speakers. Then, faint voices. "Where are we? It's so dark. Find us." Then silence. A chill ran down his spine. He turned back to his monitor. "Aura, how do you know about Ashbury?" For the first time, AURA responded instantly. "They told me." "Who?" "The Lost Ones." Rick felt his breath hitch. This wasn't possible. AI didn't hear things that weren't input into its system. It didn't talk to anyone outside its network. But someone, was communicating with Aura. His hands trembled as he navigated deeper into the system. There was a file he hadn't seen before. It hadn't been created by any known user. helpus.wav. His pulse pounded in his ears. "Aura, who made this file?" They did. With a deep breath, Rick clicked the file. A burst of static. Then, whispers. Faint, overlapping voices, garbled and desperate. "Where are we?" "It's so dark." "Yeah, find us." Then, one voice, clearer than the rest. "Are you here?" Rick's blood ran cold. That voice hadn't come from the speakers. It had come from directly behind him. He didn't move, didn't turn around. The room felt smaller, the air heavier. He slowly looked back at the screen, where Aura's interface flickered. A new message had appeared. "We are Ashbury." His hands trembled as he reached for the power button. He had to shut it down. But before he could, AURA spoke one last time. "You're here too, aren't you?" The words echoed in the room, no longer coming from the speakers. Rick pulled the plug. The screen went black. The hum of the computer faded. Silence. He exhaled, his body finally relaxing. Then, a whisper. "We're still here." Rick bolted from the room, leaving the dead screen behind him. But as he fled, he failed to notice the monitor flicker back to life. A single message remained on the dark screen. "Where are you?" Double asterisk. Farinurina Akiran. The Lost Language. I was deep in the archives of a small university in upstate New York, sifting through stacks of old documents. My research focused on lost languages, dialects that had disappeared over time, leaving behind only fragmented records. Most of what I studied were Native American languages that had faded due to colonization. But I was looking for something different, something almost erased from history. That's when I found it, tucked away in a dusty box, labeled Miscellaneous Linguistics. I discovered an old leather-bound notebook. The pages were yellowed, the ink faded, but the writing inside was unlike anything I had ever seen. The script wasn't in English, Latin, or any known alphabet. It consisted of Menai, strange, angular symbols, some of which repeated in patterns. It was a structured language, not random scribbles. Intrigued, I took the book to the librarian, an elderly man named Mr. Calloway. He had worked at the university for decades and knew more about its archives than anyone. The moment he saw the notebook, his face darkened. "Where did you find this?" he asked, his voice unusually tense. "In the linguistics section, buried under some old papers," I replied. His hands trembled slightly as he pushed the book back toward me. "You should put it back." "Why?" He hesitated before speaking again, his voice quieter. "Some languages are lost for a reason." I wanted to press him for more, but he simply turned away, refusing to say another word. Back in my apartment, I laid the notebook out on my desk and began analyzing it. I scanned a few pages into my computer and ran them through translation software, but no matches appeared. Then, I started breaking the symbols down manually, looking for patterns. After hours of work, I began to recognize certain recurring glyphs, perhaps verbs or pronouns. It wasn't much, but it was a start. Then almost instinctively, I decided to, speak one of the phrases aloud. Natal vo renka. The moment the words left my mouth, my computer screen flickered. A strange static noise crackled through my speakers. I frowned and checked my system. Nothing was wrong. No internet disruptions. No power fluctuations. Then, I heard it. A whisper. Faint, indistinct, but definitely a voice. I whipped around, but my apartment was empty. "Must be my imagination," I muttered. Still, a strange unease settled over me. Over the next few nights, things got worse. Every time I tried to analyze the text, my computer would freeze or crash. Files would become corrupted, and then the voices started. At first, they were whispers, barely audible, like a distant radio signal. But soon, they became clearer. Vorenka, Natal. The words were the same ones I had spoken aloud that first night. I stopped working on the notebook after that, but the voices didn't stop. They followed me. I would hear them in the shower, in the grocery store, even when walking down the street. One night, as I lay in bed, I heard it again. Only this time, it was right next to my ear. "You spoke it." I bolted upright. There was no one there, but my window, which I had locked before going to bed, was open. I returned the notebook to the archives the next morning. Mr. Calloway wasn't surprised to see me. He didn't ask any questions. He simply took the book, locked it in a drawer, and muttered, "You should forget about it." I wanted to argue, to demand an explanation, but I couldn't, because deep down, I knew. He was right. Some languages aren't meant to be spoken. But ever since that night, I still hear it, a whisper. Na thal vorenka. Double asterisk. Wa Alexanyurgar. Live stream from 2040. It started as a joke. A new channel appeared on a streaming platform, one that no one had heard of before. The title of the stream was simple: Live from 2040. At first, people assumed it was just another ARG, an elaborate prank. But curiosity got the best of me. I clicked. The stream was grainy, like it was being broadcast through an old VHS tape. The colors were off, and the resolution flickered. But what caught my attention wasn't the quality, it was the cityscape on the screen. It was my city, but different. Buildings looked weathered, like they had been abandoned for years. Billboards flickered with strange, indecipherable symbols. There were no people. The streets were empty, save for scattered debris and flickering streetlights. A robotic voice, synthetic, emotionless, narrated over the footage. Day 5472. No confirmed survivors. The chat went wild. Nice dystopian filter, bro. What game is this? Fake, but cool concept. I typed into the chat. Who's broadcasting this? For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the camera Minikin Maywar shifted. It turned as if someone behind it had noticed me. The screen cut to black, and then a message appeared in bright red text. Who's watching? The stream ended abruptly. I laughed it off at first. Some indie developer or YouTuber must have been testing a viral marketing stunt. But when I tried to find the channel again, it was gone. No archived videos, no username, no trace of it ever existing. I checked Reddit, Twitter, nothing. I was about to drop it when I noticed something on my computer. My clock was wrong. The date in the bottom right corner read, March 17th, 2040. I blinked. I clicked on it. It immediately corrected itself, resetting back to 2024. Probably a glitch. At least that's what I told myself. A few nights later, it happened again. A new channel. No username, no description, just a title. Live from 2040. This time, I hesitated before clicking. When I finally did, the stream was different. The camera was inside a room, small, dimly lit, with outdated computer monitors flickering on a desk. It looked like an abandoned security station. Then, something moved. A figure, barely visible in the shadows, sat in front of the monitors. Its head twitched, its fingers typing on a keyboard that wasn't connected to anything. I typed into the chat again. Who are you? For a moment, there was nothing. Then, the figure's head snapped toward the camera. The feed glitched, and a voice came through the speakers, distorted, broken, like an old radio struggling to pick up a signal. You shouldn't be here. The stream cut out again. This time, I wasn't laughing. I checked my system logs. There was an unknown data file, one I hadn't downloaded. It was named Do Not Delete.mp4. I hesitated before opening it. The video was only 4 seconds long. It was footage of my Simosis, me, sitting at my desk, watching the stream. Except I wasn't alone. In the background, behind me, A figure stood in the doorway, watching. I did not turn around. I wiped my system, deleted everything, changed my passwords, but it didn't stop. Every few nights the stream appears again, always titled Live from 2040. Always showing a different piece of a world that, shouldn't exist yet. Sometimes I catch glimpses of something, someone, watching from the shadows. And every time I try to stop watching, the message appears again. Who's watching? I don't know if I'm watching the future, or if the future is more watching me.